A very good morning to you all, my dear. Hope you all are fine. Welcome back to English language class, children. Today we are going to do the revision of chapter 28 and 29. In these chapters, we are going to revise few topics like sequence of tenses, then articles, prepositional phrases, and conditional sentences or conditions. So let's start with sequence of tenses. What do you mean by sequence of tense? Sequence of tense is the rule that regulates the use of tenses. One basic rule we must always keep in mind while using tenses is with principal and subordinate clauses that the subordinate clause always follows the tense in the principal clause. That means sequence of tenses in its narrow sense, it refers to the principle according to which tenses of subordinate clauses are suited to the tenses of principal clause. Children, there are few rules for sequence of tenses that should be kept in mind, and this is the rule that states that the tense of the verb in the subordinate clause, as I told you, it should follow the verb in the main clause according. Okay, so there are rules, two major rules, and rule 1 is if there is a use of past tense in the principal clause, it must be followed by the past tense in the subordinate clause. Okay, so here you can see principal clause and subordinate clause are there. So in first sentence, I knew, principal clause, it is in past tense, so the subordinate clause is also in past tense. I knew that he wanted to say something. Like this, you have to keep this in your mind, that if the principal clause is in past tense, the subordinate clause should also be in past. Present or future tense in the principal clause might be followed by any tense required by the sense to convey in the subordinate clause. This is rule number 2. So here you can see first example. I think this principal clause is in present tense, that the food is good. Subordinate clause, it is also in present tense. He will know. Third one, principal clause, the subordinate clause is that she is beautiful. That is also in present tense. There is an exception for rule 1, that is a past tense in the principal clause might be followed by a present tense in the subordinate clause when the subordinate clause expresses some daily habit of universal fact in a sentence. That means if the thing is universal fact, then we have to use present tense in the subordinate clause. Like the teacher taught us that the sun rises from the east. The sun rises from the east is the universal fact. So we have to use present tense in the subordinate clause. Okay. So children, this is all about sequence of tenses. Let us move on to our next topic, that is articles. Articles, very easy topic for you people. You all know very well about this topic. What are articles? Words that defines a noun. Okay, articles are words that define a noun. And a and the are articles. A and an are indefinite articles, and the is the definite article. So words that define a noun, that is a and the, are articles, as I told you, and a and an are the indefinite, and the is the definite articles. See here children, article a and an are used before singular countable nouns. Okay, so you know what are countable nouns? Countable nouns are nouns which can be counted, like a mango, egg, book, elephant. These all are countable nouns. So for these countable nouns, we use a. Okay, we use article a before singular countable noun beginning with consonant sound. Okay, we use a for article a we use for singular countable nouns which are starting with consonant sound, like a girl, a sunny day. And we use an before a singular countable noun beginning with vowel sound, like an apple, an examination, an egg, an elephant. Clear, children? The, as I told you, is definite article. Article the is used with singular and plural nouns when the noun is specific or particular. Like, the dog that bit me ran away. Then we use the also when something is mentioned a second time. Like, I saw a movie last night. The movie was very interesting. Clear? And we use the when we are stating facts which are universal facts or universal truth, like the sun rises in the east. And children, we also use the for directions also. The west, the north, the east. Okay. Now next comes the topic participle phrases. What are participle phrases? Participle phrases are, or participle phrase is an adjective phrase headed by a participle. Okay, it can be a past participle, it can be a present participle. So here you can see an example. Brimming with confidence, Jack blurted the answer. So here brimming is the participle, that is, it is present participle, and this participle phrase is modifying the noun Jack. So this is a participle phrase, and here present participle is being used. So it is what the participle phrase is doing, it is modifying the noun. Here are examples of participle phrases. See, as participle phrases all functions as adjective. Here examples are: peering over the top of his glasses, her tutor shook his head. So here the participle phrase peering, it is describing her tutor. Second one, cracked from top to bottom, the mirror was now ruined. So in the first one it was present participle. Now in the second one, cracked from top to bottom, the mirror was now ruined. Here the participle phrase, that is past participle phrase, it is describing the mirror. Third one, look at the panther climbing the tree. Here the participle phrase climbing is describing the panther. So as I told you, children, that a participle phrase can be a past participle or a present participle. So present participle always ends with ing. Here is an example: the rising tide. And the past participle usually ends with ed, d, t, en or n. So you can see here example, the risen cake. Then children comes the next topic is conditionals. There are different types of conditionals, like zero conditional, first conditional, third conditional, second conditional and third conditional. So zero conditional, it is used to talk about things that are generally true or scientific facts. First conditional, it is used to talk about a possible condition and its probable result in the future. Then comes the second conditional. It is used to talk about an unlikely or hypothetical conditions and its probable result now or in the future. Third conditional is used to talk about an imaginary condition and its probable result in the past. So here children, you can see in zero conditional, if the if clause is in present simple, okay, it is in simple present, and then the main clause will be also in simple present. So here example is given: if the weather is good, I go to the beach. If it rains, the grass gets wet. If you freeze water, it turns into ice. In the first conditional, the if clause is in present simple, and then main clause will be in the structure of will plus infinitive. So example is: if the weather is good tomorrow, I will go to the beach. First conditional, okay. If you don't hurry, you will miss the train. Now coming up to second conditional, the if clause is in past tense and the main clause will have would plus infinitive. Like, if the weather were good, I would go to the beach. If I had lot of money, I would travel around the world. And in third conditional, the if clause is in past perfect, the main clause will have would have plus past participle. Like, if the weather had been good, I would have gone to the beach. If you hadn't eaten so much, you wouldn't have felt sick. So, like this, you have to use the conditionals. Okay, children? So, children, I hope you understood all the topics of these two chapters, that is, sequence of tenses, articles, participle phrases, and conditionals. Do all the exercises given in your textbook. Practice more. Okay, children, any doubt we will discuss in the live class. Thank you.